Asus, Republic of Gamers. HyperX, Monster Energy, live at MGM Grand.
We're back in Vegas, the MGM Grand, and indeed, so far the Counter-Strike has been pretty damn grand as well. Counter-Strike Global Offensive has taken to Vegas and has taken it by storm so far here for Dreamhack Masters. We're about the halfway point of our first day of group play, and the games are only going to get more fabulous from here. Another best of one this time, where we do introduce our friends from the Orient. Tyloo are going to be visiting here.
Bringing that term back.
Okay. And of course, Tyloo versus SK.
Thorin's back as well.
Duncan's joined us as well, in case you didn't know. Good to have you with us.
Expert on geopolitics.
Have you ever considered just like sending an email to Question Time, just seeing if you'll get on the show and see what happens?
Yeah. My specialist subject.
What would it
I think
be?
we all know what it'd be. I know a lot about it.
Listen, guys, I'm
not going to be there next week.
We've talked about a lot of awkward things today. This is a dangerous subject. Let's steer away.
Okay, moving swiftly on from politics and into SK versus none other than Tyloo. Jason, we ended up before the break by saying that this is a rematch. This is a little bit of a grudge match, actually, from the last Dreamhack Masters over in Sweden.
I mean, yeah, it's always a question.
To an extent.
Yeah, how much of a grudge is actually going to be carried over. But yeah, at the last Dreamhack Masters, Tyloo was the team to knock SK out. That was right after they won their first major, right after they won Columbus. I think that was like a week or maybe even just two after the major that they won. And then SK gets knocked out in the group stage by Tyloo. So that's just kind of a cool storyline that carries over from it. And they did beat him, I think, it was Inferno, and then I think Yanko said the other map was Cobble. So
yeah, I think it was.
Yep,
yeah.
So
Inferno. Hey, that was back when it was in the pool.
I got it up here.
Chad's pulling funny faces.
No, they beat them on Cage.
Yeah, and Mirage.
14.
Cash, yeah.
And they beat them on Inferno. Yeah, those are the two.
Cool.
Okay.
So we've seen Tyloo succeed versus SK before, but the first point we should make, Chad, is that this isn't the same SK. Phelps in the roster. Did that give you good vibes, good feels?
It may as well be.
Has to be.
Just another, rock player, I think. I don't think he's going to be a superstar in this roster. He's just going to do his job like FNX did. I don't think we're going to see anything super exciting from him. They already have their stars. I don't think there's room for any more stars in this team.
No, I know, Duncan, I mean, that kind of goes against what you were suggesting. You think Phelps could be the
Maybe
big star.
Chad knows more than us. He's got his pad there. Maybe he's got his felt
It's
tip
coloured
pen.
pad as well.
Felt tip pen.
Jesus.
I think he is a star player.
I'll be here all week. So.
I think he is a star player. I just don't think there's room for more stars in this team with the way it's
the
set
point,
up.
Yeah. Here's the thing. On another team, he absolutely would be a star player. But I always say when you look at that team, so would Fur. If you put him onto Immortals, he'd be a monster. But if you look at that team, there's two stars on that team. It's Fallen and it's called Zero, and that's kind of what's given them the success. So I don't really know that you can mess that up.
I mean, that's quite a luxury to be sitting there going,
certainly, yeah.
Our other players would be stars had they been in a different house. That's pretty awesome. Sorry, Jason, do jump in. We have Tyloo on the screen as well.
Yeah, well, we'll get to them. Fallen and Cold, obviously. Fallen and Cold, obviously, the two stars, but Fur has been unreal lately, and this is where we get to Tyloo. I mean, up on the screen, obviously, there's a name missing. That would be fancy. So, I mean...
Rest in peace.
Yeah, right. God bless.
Almost literally.
This will, I mean, this team is just, the question always becomes, they were that same team as, that we've always talked about, the kind of team that is only really dangerous in those upset situations. They've won a couple BO3s like that one against SK, but it's really not something that can be relied upon. It's fitting. It should be a good indication, by the way, that we're talking about a BO3 they won almost exactly a year ago.
Yeah, so. That's the thing in general. They've been an okay upset potential on best of ones, but they're not really beating like the non-Asian teams on best of things, except Renegades.
They're good to beat Australian teams. Yeah, these guys are really good against Australian teams.
Well, that's the beauty. We have you here, Chad. You've played against these guys.
Lost to them numerous times.
Was it two or three minors? Two minors you played against them?
I think it was two.
Okay.
I think they got disqualified from one.
Right.
Yeah.
But you've played against them numerous times. You are probably the only person on this panel that's played against the very team we're about to discuss. So I'm sure you can give us some insight into how it is to play versus the Chinese.
They're very relentless in their T side, right? They just seem to have endless numbers attacking you.
Right.
When you don't expect there to be 5 guys, they're just coming at you. Especially, I remember playing them on Cache, and we were stacking the B bomb site. knowing that they were going to come, and we just couldn't do anything against them. You remember in 1.6 how Asian teams always had fantastic aim, and they always would have an unusual approach to the game, and that's their kind of thing, their kind of gimmick.
Right.
I feel that they need to find themselves in a more of a consistent professional environment against these European and American teams to learn how to play proper Counter-Strike.
Sure.
But they have the gimmicks and they have different ideas, and it's always difficult to play against, especially if they can get on top of your economy.
In a best of one scenario, I mean, would you agree, Duncan, that this is like, in a petri dish for success for Tyloo, this is everything you need? It's the right conditions for a surprise upset.
Yeah, especially because the key about playing in a best of one, now it's not going to work against SK, but they still haven't played that many of the Western teams. There's still tournaments where whenever you see a new team come up against them, that's their chance to, like, the real surprise factor. So maybe some of the other teams in this group, that could be the case. Because actually, yeah, to follow on what he's saying about, like, the good aim, that's the thing. They have like a one style of play that maybe not everyone's comfortable playing against. So the teams that can adapt to that can beat them, certainly. But if you're not used to playing that style, then it can be very dangerous, certainly.
I don't know how much you guys are putting faith in Tyloo. I mean, I think it's safe to say that a lot of people, yes, the Astralis era has no doubt perhaps begun. We'll see what happens here in Vegas, but also SK are not to be forgotten about. They had this kind of slight slump during the removal of FNX, but do you think this is enough to kind of put them back? We can't forget their double major run.
I mean, yeah, you can't even forget their previous major run where we're coming in with Fox as a stand-in. They still had an incredible tournament out of there. And again, that's when we really saw, we talk about how deep this roster can be and how, we've always mentioned Fur and Cold as like that 1-2 star, like which one of them is going to step up. And this is where Fur's just really started taking over in this year. He's been unreal. And that is a luxury to have, even before you even get to Phelps, who is an unbelievable player on Immortals. But the big question watching this, I think SK is going to win this one heavily, but the big question watching this is how are they going to use Phelps? This is where we're going to start to see kind of the mindset of where they're going to put him, how they want to gear around Phelps. It'll be interesting to see, because I know Immortals used him very much as almost like an aggressive, it sounds like really counterintuitive, but like an aggressive lurk. Like he would aggressively get into a position on the map, and then he would kind of put on the brakes, and he would lurk in that really advanced aggressive position. And if they're going to do something similar to that, that could be intriguing, but then that's where the questions come into how you fit this other player into the system.
So sorry,
I just wanted him to clarify something for me, just literally a question myself to you.
Yes.
An aggressive look. Can you give me an example on a map? Like, so
like, no, I mean, the perfect one I always use with Phelps is against Navi at the Oakland group stage on Mirage, when he would aggressively get into position in window room by the murder hole, and then he would just stop moving forward. He wouldn't try and make a play. Right. So with him in that position, the rest of his team would make and execute somewhere on the map, but he'd be there to either cut off rotations or have a flank from behind, whatever it might be. Okay, Chad, sorry, do jump in, and the maps will be on screen while you talk.
I was just going to say that I think with SK, it's probably good that they've had this roster change, because the way they're addressing the game is getting a bit stale. Fallen showed that he's happy to change his style for Fox, and hopefully they do that with Phelps as well to enable him as much as possible.
Accommodate Phelps, and the bans are underway. Duncan, so far, predictable for you? Just getting
Nuke to be expected. Train from Tyloo, not really a map that they've exceeded on. Obviously, SK Classic, they were amazing on that map last year. The real key for me is I want to see who, if anyone, bans Inferno. So it's Mirage so far for SK. So then will they use their third one for it? Because I don't think Tyloo's going to ban it, actually. I think that's something that they'll want in there instead. So taking out Overpass, actually that was one of their better maps. That was one of the maps I thought they were pretty decent on. But again, it was like more playing into the SK wheelhouse. So at the moment, Mirage is a map that the guys from SK in the past have been banning, but they've actually gone with the Inferno ban here. So Mirage is still available, and I'm pretty sure Tyloo want Mirage if it's out there.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that the map we've seen them actually on most over in kind of European
actually,
soil?
Mirage was already banned. I'm sorry, but I think maybe Cash is something they're probably heading towards now.
Yeah, that's what they beat them on.
So they've actually decided to ban it. So we're going to Cobble, which is actually one of the original Tyloo maps. It's a map that actually, though, SK's kind of gone away from in the last few months. It's like it's not really one of the ones that they've seen so strong on, it seemed.
Almost feels like a trap card veto there from SK wanting them to go towards Cache, right? Because otherwise we never see them play. It's weird that they leave it in the phase that far. To get Cobble, them moving away from it could be a drama, and they do tend to hit that B bomb site really early. If Tyloo can hold strong on their CT side and get on top of the economy, can hurt SK a lot, I think.
Hands on the chips, gentlemen. Duncan, where's this going for you? SK Tyloo.
I'll go for a good one. I'll go for 5 onto SK.
5 onto SK. Ooh. Chad, would you like to match that?
I think you have to go with SK. I'll just go with 4. I don't have that many chips to play with.
Okay. Moses is a coward, so he'll do like 1 on SK.
SK. Jason, you want to go big?
How's your stack doing over there?
Some confidence.
Pretty good. I'll do 3 on SK.
Whoa, what a big bet.
He did it before as well.
You're still so bad that you just got knocked out already. You already lost an all-in bet. You're at like -10 chips.
Okay, guys.
Doesn't really work that way.
I'm gonna stop the Salt Factory. I will join you 3.
Are we doing the players again?
SK. No, we're not, Chad. As fun as that was, we're gonna stop that.
I liked it.
Next time.
Well, we'll do our own off
All
camera.
right, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe we'll check in with a new casting duo. Anders and Sem are going to put their feet up and relax here in the MGM Grand, and we're going to tune in with Henry and Sado, who are all settled and ready to get into this one. You going good, boys? How's it going over there?
Doing very good. Listen, I'm going to go all in on Moses punching Duncan before this broadcast is over.
That'll never happen. But
It's as if he's the one who's supposed to like be so okay with his predictions, and now we've got chips involved. He can be salty about the predictions and the chips.
It's quite aggressive over there, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
Bet
Are
two,
we all
win
still
10.
mates, guys?
All still mates, of course.
Yeah.
We're on
Doesn't seem
track
like
for a
it.
good meltdown, though. It is
Yeah,
day
it's
one.
a day one.
Day one. Story.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
glad I'm in between
when it
these
comes, listen, there is some famous boxing matches that have happened in the MGM Grand. A couple people that were in attendance for
Too
those,
soon.
and yeah, I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm going to bet on Moses if it gets to that.
Yeah.
But for this game, it is cool because you guys mentioned it. It's a rematch of basically the last Masters when SK knocked out then reigning champions immediately a week after the major, Luminosity SK. So it's kind of interesting that we go right back onto Cobblestone as well.
Right, well, I mean, it does seem like there's very little faith from us at the desk for Tyloo and perhaps Moses and Duncan's sanity, but check in with Henry and Sado. You guys enjoy your first cast.
The definition of sanity.
Oh, guys. Any peace, any friendliness at all left?
It's gone. It's gone. I'm not surprised. I actually expected the meltdown of the analyst desk to happen much sooner than 2017,
As
but
soon as you-
2018 is not happening. It's
As soon as gambling gets
Counter-Strike's dead
involved,
by
that's
then.
it. Have you done any gambling?
No, even though I am North American, I have not. I'm not a gambler. I tend to lose when I gamble.
Probably best to avoid it then.
Yes,
that would
yeah,
make sense.
exactly.
So if I was to ask you, those guys have kind of put their money where their mouths are. SK, probably the easy favourites going into this one. Even though they played last time at the Masters in Malmo, Tyloo actually knocked them out. It was on cash, so it was interesting to see that kind of getting right down to the last veto there. But it's going to be on Cobblestone, where Tyloo, that's where they really arrived on our radars.
Yes.
If you remember, in that tournament especially, you're looking at your cable there.
You noticed
Realised?
that. You know I get triggered by that. I did it myself.
Yeah, so this is like the interesting play style. No one really knew how to play against them, but as soon as you kind of downloaded them and people were aware of this team, their CD side wasn't as prevalent. But I still expect a good game here. SK, I'd say, heavy favourites going into it, but let's start off this one. Tyloo on the T side here. They've got 4 sets of armour, a smoke, a flashbang, and HG grenade in the hands of Captain Mo, of course, HZ, or HD, I guess the Americans would say.
Nice shot from Fur. That starts off well. Over toward A, and they're going to pursue him. I think HZ works. I'll go with the Z.
All right.
Point as well about specifically the Tyloo game style that we saw on Cobblestone. A lot of people avoided them after Malmo because they play so passive. They let you walk in toward the B site, commit before they peek, and then you're caught in a crossfire. We'll see if that's something that SK can read into, or if they even go over toward the A site instead when they get onto the terrorist side. Changes on both sides as well. That's definitely a fact. I'm curious, very curious to see how Phelps fits into this lineup. I think a lot of people have been waiting for this.
Yeah.
Personally, I think they can. I don't know about retaking the clear #1. I think everything has gotten a lot closer, but they'll easily be in the mix for a #1 team status with him. But we'll see how that unfolds. Fur's looking to get baited in now at lower mid. Fallen doesn't even need to bait him in. He's just going to hit the shot immediately onto Captain Mo. This is dynamic play from Fur because remember, he was the one to peek out at long, takes down the bomb, DD falls. And he's going to rotate immediately back through danger, knows that attackers made it in towards stables. His service is not required because Cold's already killed him, and it's 1-0 for SK.
There it is, SK Gaming getting that first pick. There's a lot of teams going for that aggressive pick towards long A. Snacks famously does it, goes there by himself. Obviously got that range advantage with the silence USP. Hit the replay right now, perfectly timed. You get 1 kill, you're falling back there. Very good counter-strike, Fur baited in at this point as well. Just a very nice round from SK Gaming. Tyloo obviously had some sort of execution in mind. They wanted to get that long A control first, maybe use the smoke, but getting shut down in the initial encounters wasn't meant to be. And interesting buy, Matt. 5 UMPs on the second round here on the CT side. That's very unorthodox. You normally want to have 2, maybe 3 rifles, but they've gone for 0. But obviously UMP, a big talking point in Counter-Strike right now. It's kind of a heavy discussion point as to whether
to the point where
it's too
HLTV
strong, right?
did a massive breakdown on a weapon, which I've not seen them do, at least not in a very long time. Discussing the meta changes and teams that buy it. Oddly enough, Flip Side, I think, was the only team that still favors the Galils and Famosas over it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We've got to have a full buy, I guess a forced buy from Tyloo in return. They're going to have the Tech 9s and CZs. They've got a couple of smokes here. Towards B they go. You'd imagine those smokes using the bomb site. Maybe one towards drop down and the connector area. And they can try and do an A split here. But Taco doing some work. But he does get a return quite quickly. Captain Mo goes under 5 HP, but he does find the frag.
Flash isn't on top of him, though. 5 HP, as you say. He has to back away. He's forced off of the position with that Tech 9. Instead, he's got a chance to try and get Attacker in position. Who's playing cubby corner, and there's no Molotovs on the CT side. Slight change in the HUD graphics. We've got the flashbang with lovely, it looks like a lit candle. Do you remember when that was the trend? Light a candle in chat?
Yeah.
Light a candle. Cold Zero is going to try and just wait this out as well because they themselves on this T side do not have much utility to work with. It's timing for him that he'll rely on. They do check it. Lovely shot from Attacker. He gets tagged up just barely. Only goes down to 79 as he hits the headshot, and that lets Mo, who's on 5 HP, lead the charge into the site. He's looking for information. He gets a kill. Somebody gets that relayed onto him. That Fallen's rotating, and just like that, it's a 1 versus 4 for Fur to try and pull back with bomb down. These SMGs, you called it not working, and somebody's already gone through. They've got the SMGs on the other side, and the Tech 9s prevail.
That's why I always bring it up. Like, I criticize that by almost every single time. Yes, you get more utility to work with, and you can delay them at the initial part of the map, but Tech 9s versus SMGs at close range, there's not really much in it. The Tech 9's still very good. The CZ, obviously, close range, as you saw then. You didn't have much to work with Tyloo there, but they get close enough and in the face of those SMGs, like they have to be because they haven't got the range to really challenge. Otherwise, it's actually quite an equal battle there. Tyloo coming out on top, and it's going to be 1-1, and a force buy from the CTs in return. The UMP makes another appearance in the hands of Fur, Deagles, CZs, and some armor as well. Taco a little bit lighter than his teammates, and of course Fall in the AWP as well. He just gets a P250, so no heavy stack coming in. It's a pretty default setup, 2 towards A, and you can see Tyloo though, they'll just be holding right back at this point. They're seeing if there's any aggression coming in from the CTs. Don't want to give anything away, make sure they're returning every bit of firepower that's coming towards them. So, and we'll be DD now. And they boost up here, quite a standard play so far. Just get the strong positions and see whether a CT makes a mistake.
Part of me loves that they've extended that doorway where Phelps is playing right now inside of the B site, because I thought it was always a viable position and no one was using it. But part of me hates it because now that it is much more viable and more obvious, people are using it more frequently, which means it'll be countered. So it's good to see that it is an angle that's available to the CTs. I think it always was. I don't think it needed to be extended to the point where it's now this powerful, but teams can still try and do exactly this with it. A deeper crossfire set inside of the site. Rather than chicken coop with a straight line bait, they can pull a player in, and Phelps gets spotted. Attacker checks it, makes no mistake. UMP kill onto him. That's picked up from the last round and carried over. And the Galil and AK are locked out of the site right now with smokes down. Somebody's going to wrap around as well to try and get inside the rock position. But look at Cold Zero go. He's got the Deagle. Just the Deagle to work with. They've got 2 UMPs back in return and a flash off. Attacker tries to push through, and SK returns serve. Question is, do they get to the AK? I don't. They get the Galil. Okay.
Well then, Cold Zera there with some deadly Desert Eagle work. Fantastic player, of course, one of the best on the planet. Manages to bring SK Gaming back to life there after losing the second round. Attacker trying to do what he can. After he loses those first couple of frags, his teammate's going down. He flashes himself, unfortunately, and almost gives his frag away. There will be another force buy here, though, from Tyloo. You can see them getting a couple of AKs, some PD-50s, Tech 9s, and a UMP as well. So something to work with here. It is the war of attrition at the moment. Who will crack first and have to go full eco? But now SK Gaming have a few more rifles to work with this time. 3 to be exact, and nothing really to report in terms of the initial setup here from the CTs. They've got a bit of aggression towards the upper platform once again, but the CTs are going to be aware now AKs have been purchased, so they'll be trying to shut them out, using the smoke right now just to buy themselves some time. You can see Taco just working towards that upper platform.
Somebody's going to wait as well, as you say, waiting for that push to come through. The 2 AK-47s. We're going to get an aggressive back and forth game at the start. I like seeing these, but remember that when these force buys come in, when one team eventually does get broken, it tends to become a runaway in the middle of the half, and it's hard to build up the economy in return. So this could very quickly tip, and if SK win this round, we could go on a run of 5 or 6.
Indeed. Let's see if they can get the bomb down here. They have got some long air control. The bomb will be there for Tyloo as well. DD and Captain Mo looking like they'll leave Captain Mo in that position there. He'll be coming in with the backstab. He'll be waiting for his teammates to actually show presence towards A, smoke it off. He'll be listening for rotations, trying to get information for his teammates, and potentially get some kills in the back here. Very standard stuff there at that point, but can work if you time it to perfection here. But he's in a great position to get that first frag. Nails it as well. Down goes the newly picked up player, HZ.
For trying to line up the shot down toward bottom and middle, has Fallen waiting at long corner, and he's got to be there because if they take Fallen down, suddenly Fur's left in the open and he gets found from DD. The rotations have to come in. The 2 AKs still in play. An attacker might be tagged, but he's on 40 HP. Both have head armor, and DD in this with 6 HP can be the one to try and find the information. Safe plant comes through. They haven't gone by the hot spot because they don't want to get spotted from balcony and check barrels, so he just covers it off. Now knows there's no one there. DD way down at bottom of mid, has to try and do something to get information to his teammates. Instead, it's going to be Attacker peeking out, finds Taco. Phelps does get tagged to 12. This leaves him in a precarious position, and now a tag served onto Cold as well. And they finally get Phelps down. That could have been it on its own with 2 players lined up on low HP, but lovely shot from Cold, and Attacker can't find the angle.
Another 3 kills for Cold Zera, just when it looked like Tyloo had done enough there to make it happen. He has a kid as well to finish things off. It's SK Gaming picking up that big round, as you discussed before. They should send Tyloo onto an eco at this point. It will be 3-1. And even with the bomb down, they only got second stage loss bonus here. Some Tech-9s, some CZs, maybe some body armor here and there, but that's SK Gaming with a big round picked up there. Now they should be able to get a little bit more comfortable, keep 5 players alive this round. They've got 4 rifles, only 1 UMP to work with. So that's really, really good news for SK Gaming, especially on the CT side here.
And obviously you can tell why I don't gamble because I get carried away with numbers. I said it could end up being 6 rounds in a row. I was being a little bit hyperbolic in that sense. Obviously, as you say, they've got a lost round bonus that's only built up in 2 rounds. They'll be able to buy in the next, especially with a bomb down. It's still low enough on SK, but if they win the next gun round, they're still building that loss bonus. That's where you can get sort of the 5-0 start that you normally see at the start of the game in the middle of the half. That's kind of where I was going with
this is a perfect opportunity to keep 5 players alive. They've got that 2-man advantage at the moment. Maybe overcommitting a little bit at this point. Just want to fall back and make the terrorists to make the next move. This should be a frag for the T's at this point, but you know what? He says no. He finds 2 frags, finally gets taken down there. It's going to be HZ. He picks up an M4A4, I should say, and no grenades, but he has got the bomb, and looks like SK want to close this down as quickly as possible. Fall with a nice shot there to finish things off, but there it is. 4-1. Tyloo will have enough to work with in terms of buys, but this is the problem. You pointed it out. As soon as you get into this force buy scenario, yes, you have enough to buy just the AKs, the armor, a couple of grenades, but you won't get an AWP, and that's a big deal for players like Captain Mo.
Well, they've just gone for the AWP on Fallen, and they do upgrade slightly on the SK side, so they still leave their money a little bit lower. Potential breakpoint both ways as a result of it, because they lower themselves in such a way that if Tyloo win this, it'll leave them stranded from strapped for cash. Phelps gets flashed in, goes aggressive to start it off. Tyloo, and in return to that, as you mentioned, on 3-digit economy is going to be very limited without it. Didi trying to find an opening with the AK-47. Smokes down, but can't get the angle just yet. They're committing to the site. Phelps, Taco, and Fur have already rotated over. Smokes go a little bit deep, and that leaves Taco with a line of sight toward the stairwell as Setch Didi falls, and they rotate into that new arch position. Phelps wants to be a pest at these stairs. I would watch for him to be here all game. He looks aggressive, he's dynamic, he's fallen back, gotten away from the entries, and then sneaks back up when they're not suspecting it, takes down HZ, follows it up with Attacker, and there we go. Broken economy immediately for Tyloo.
Yeah, Tyloo there trying the fast B set piece at that point. It was quite a basic setup. 2 smokes at the bomb site, 5 players committed to the upper platform. The problem is they had a CT aggressive towards that upper platform position, flashed in by his teammates, didn't find the kill, but he does a headshot and he spots all 5 players towards the position. They can also almost instantly rotate at that point. Tyloo, limited economy, can't really afford to fall back at that stage, have to fully commit, and SK Gaming just great synergy on that bomb site there. Back and forth, just taking the aggro away from each other and finding the frags one by one, and the SMGs finding the majority of the kills as well. So that's going to be great for the economy. All 5 players staying alive. It's 5-1, another eco for the Chinese side at this point. So 5-1, and they've got Tech-9s, CZs, and Desert Eagles. No grenades to work with, and they're a very passive setup right now as well.
Oh, look at Fur, though. Already pushed through so much information. Sneaks in behind them. Free kill onto Attacker. Now, he's got to be careful not to overextend himself, because look at Tyloo's setup. This is almost what we saw from them on the CT side.
Yeah,
Who goes to Rapunzel Tower to start things off, and they get the shot? Yeah, that's, well, Deagle for somebody, but Tech-9 got the kill down below. They're almost waiting for that push. Phelps got very lucky. He snuck through the archway at bottom and middle and didn't get spotted by them sooner. Now, this gives them a gun as well. That's the whole point of that play from Tyloo. Come to me, bring me your weapon, I'll take it and use it against you. So they actually go to a 4 versus 4 with the AK.
That's actually not bad at all. Well, that works out for them. It's going to be Captain Mo with the AK-47. He's towards long A by himself, so we'll keep our eyes on him for now. See if he can open things up. He's trying to bait in his image. If he finds 1 kill, there's a chance. Unfortunately, the weapon goes down. It'll be pretty obvious as to what's going on right now. It's going to be Phelps challenging them towards drop down, and it should be quite a simple procedure for the CDs at this point. Phelps, he puts on a bit of a show for us. Pretty nice spray down there with the AK. Manages to get 3 kills, and that's going to be the eco going in favor of SK Gaming. They're 6-1. There's a crowd building up there, Matthew.
Well, there is. I don't. I imagine most people at Vegas right now. What time are we? 3 o'clock. Yeah, they're probably just waking up.
Yeah. It's definitely a very strange place. Like, I was down there at 8 a.m. this morning. Like,
So was I.
People are like, yeah, different reasons. But I can't believe they're actually like gambling at that time in the morning. It's nuts how bizarre this place is. But
Just to point out, Phelps has 6 kills over the last 2 rounds. That puts him at 10K, because not the previous round we just saw, but the one before that, he got 3 on the SMG. So his money's built. This is exactly what we were talking about. SK gets a chance to run with the half at this point in time. Around 8, it's 6-1. And only now is Tyloo getting money. Not only are they getting money, they're getting absolutely slaughtered at long with a crossfire set. Fallen hit the lovely shot on the jumping T. And that baited them in toward his teammate, Fur, who got 1 and then was traded out. But it's a 4 versus 3, 2 men down on the Tyloo side, and they have to compensate for this.
Textbook stuff there. Fallen getting flashed, waiting 1 second, pulling the trigger. Bit of a risk sometimes, but he nails the timing there. And like he said, baits in his teammate. He gets 1, but they have the man advantage. It's 4-3 now, and it's down to Captain Mo. He has finally got the AWP. can be very powerful with that weapon indeed. Double AWP setup for the CT this time. Definitely a talking point, but I don't mind it when you pick up the weapon in the previous round and fallen. Hitting shots like that, you're in a great position going forward. So a 4-on-2 now, and 1 minute remaining. No real grenades to work with, so unless they can really do something, find an opening pick, they're actually separated right now. Has to be some sort of A split. It's up to DD really to open something up here and allow them to even have a chance in this round.
Taco from Chicken Coop lining up toward drop instead. Don't catch it, but somebody does get 1 kill back. That's on the AK, and they know there's a player inside a dropper, and Phelps is just waiting for this to present itself. DD jumps up and doesn't hit the shot, so now they pull it back to a 2 versus 2, 2 ops left alive, and they're split on either site. Obviously, there's guns down on rotation, but where does the op line up? It still wants to watch toward the arch room. That's correct from Taco, but he's tagged immediately after his DD sprays through. A 1 versus 1. They've pulled this back, and with 8 seconds, they're just barely going to get the bomb down to the hands of DD. Smartly planted in behind the statue as well for safety. And a flash thrown, but he didn't see where it was thrown from. I think he's figured it out now that it is from Connection. It is going to be a standard rotation from Fallen, who's grabbed the AK on the way through, but he's looking the wrong direction. And it will be Tyloo pulling back a round that was well against them.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a 4-on-2 situation. I thought there was no chance of them actually doing anything there, but piece by piece, they managed to put it all together, and one kill picked up by somebody there towards the A side of the map. He rotates back towards B, and the kills just fall apart. I feel like SK Gaming were overcommitting there, especially towards mid.
Well, and Phelps missing that shot at window opens everything up for them.
It wasn't so much a miss. It was actually a really nice play from the player jumping out of the window.
DD, yep.
Yeah, like getting in that and nailing that one. I think he just thought, okay, guaranteed kill here. Didn't expect to be headshot like that. So very well done from Tyloo, but definitely reset potential here. Another double AWP setup from SK as we go into round number 9. It's currently 6-2.
Taco with a quick peek to check long, so he this time will be the one over there. As a result of the double op setup, no doubt. They want to try and get it aggressive. We know Phelps, not really a man that picks up that secondary op. It's interesting as well because you'd think without Fox, he'd go back to cold on the second op, but Taco this time had the spawn for it. That's not something we normally see. Spotted by DD, but they know he's stuck in the corner, so they're going to need utility just to get him away from that position. As the smoke goes down, he actually elects to stay there, and I think that might... Okay, he does go back. I was going to say, if he stays there, that's a bit of a mind game. Wants them to think he's crossed back out. They give up looking at that position. He tries to capitalize later. It's HZ tagged to 17.
Yeah, I think he took some nade damage at the start, but Taco with the AWP finds the first pick. That's Captain Mo going down, not even the low HP player, so that's really devastating for Tyloo now. HZ have to go in first, the DD drops as well. This is looking like it's going to run away from Tyloo, and this is a heavy round for them to lose. Full reset coming in. They were low money regardless after the previous round being a 1v1, and they're going to be smoked out. So, going to have to slow things right down. Another 4-on-2 situation. They managed to win it before. Can they replicate the same sort of magic? Doesn't look like it, Matt. Looks like we'll be saving at this point, so
yeah,
let's not get too excited.
Well, even winning the last round, remember, in that fashion, they did have a 5-round reset.
Exactly.
With 1 player left alive. So, yeah, even if you do that again, you're going to be low on money because they're all on 3-digit economy. Exception of DD.
Yeah, somebody, so he takes a couple of ticks with the incendiary there. They hear that, they know the bomb's down at this point. No one really needs to overcommit. We can see one player 8Z towards Rapunzel Tower, I believe it looks like on the minimap right now. And we'll see whether this hunting from Phelps leads to anything. Doesn't look like it will. It's not really worth it. The money's not exactly stable for SK right now. Let's keep the double orbs up. Don't give anything away. You could potentially bait Tyloo into a force buy here. That actually works out quite nicely. If they force buy into this round, they could be tempted considering they have 2 AKs. This is going to ruin their money going forward. But here's the shot from Taco. I don't think you can see him at all. He just pulled the trigger. Yeah, right in the corner. Hits him in the arm as he has his grenade out as well. That's quite lovely. And indeed, the force buy does come in. So this is an all-in move from Tyloo. They save 2 AKs. Bring one out. We can see the lack of utility here. 2 smokes to work with on Cobbles. Not enough at all. Needs to be perfect here. They are a very good team in terms of firepower, but with this sort of buy, I'm not sure it's going to be enough, especially against the Orbs. Maybe I'm wrong.
Decent shot from HZ on the way through, yeah? You are wrong for once, Henry. Finally, I get to say it. You hate to being wrong.
It's true.
Fallen rotates back. Stable position for him. Stable ground to stand on because he's got the op to take down Captain Mo. Flashes back at the corner, knows he's got to buy himself some space, and he actually does hit that second shot through the pillar. Catches out HD, stays alive. Tag as well on somebody. Did that come from him? Because if so, that's quite nifty. That one, not so much. Just somebody does get 1 kill. In return, he follows it up. That's Phelps down. He only has 17 HP. Bomb's down inside of the site, but he's got it down to a 1 versus 2. The problem is with the bomb down and making so much noise rotating back around, Cold Zero already knows exactly where he is. and makes it 8-2.
Yeah, I would say that those are impactful frags there. I guess they kind of, we still have a few rounds to go here, but with 8k on a couple of players on the SK side, it doesn't really lead to too much. And considering the Tyloo can't really afford to do anything but a full eco going forward, they're pretty redundant at this point. Here's the kills from Fallen's POV, doing a very good job. Close range to the AWP, doesn't find that kill though. But as we go into round number 11, a timeout for the Chinese side, Tyloo, of course, and let us work out what they're going to do going forward. It's a weird time to take a pause, really, because you can't really do too much this round. You have to full eco. You're only getting 1900 into this one. Can't justify anything on top of that. You're only going to get 2400 into the next. So if you force buy in this one and get the bomb down, you still don't really have enough to buy. So you have to just take a full eco on the chin here. And maybe it's a chance to kind of reflect and work out what's going wrong here. At this point, they've won one single gun round and then got fully reset. Forced into it, like I've kind of pointed out before. SK allowing them to save 2 AKs has worked out really nicely for them, because now the money is in tatters for Tyloo.
And this was where it always... You rarely see games that go back and forth as much as this game did. Double eco start, where one team won an eco and then it was responded by SK. You rarely see those games work out to be even in the money, because it's desperately clawing at it. You're trying to pull the other team away, and then as soon as you fail once, that's it. Your money's gone.
And you're kind of committed at that point, and you have to just keep going at it and hope you can kind of break back into it, like Tyloo just did, and now you're in ruins. You need to work out what's going on here. It's certainly still a T-sided map, not as much as it used to be, I would say. It's kind of balancing out slightly. It's still, I'd say, in my opinion, if you had to put a gun to my head, please don't.
Consider it.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. It would be a T-sided map still. But no, another full eco again for Tyloo. Just a chance to use it to pause at this point, just to kind of calm themselves down, work out what's going forward, and it will be 8-2 for the Brazilian side. A great start for them so far. So here comes the final purchases from Tyloo. Not really much to report to you, Matt. It's going to be 1 PT50 for somebody, and no grenades, and 4 Glocks accompanying him. So maybe just a B-rush. Hope for the best. If you get a couple of kills, that's great. If you somehow get a bomb down, that's a miracle. But let's see what they bring to the table here. And the SK, they're going to be fully away. You can see Fallen, they've been going with double orb so far. He brings out an SMG. He'll be a nice close range. He knows he'll be up against absolutely nothing here. Farm some cash with that SMG.
He's actually already pushed down and through danger as well to get information over toward A drop. They hear it, they know it. Cold peeks in, but doesn't want to overcommit. Phelps goes on it. I think Phelps expected that Cold was actually going to peek, and a bit of a miscommunication between the newest player on the team. He gets committed to a situation where there's multiple players inside the drop room. It turns out not mattering, as Cold does go down getting one, and then Fur rotates over, but could have been costly. Because Cold looked like he was on the window still going, and then realized, hang on, there's a lot of them, I'm backing out, just as Phelps peeked.
Well then, get a couple of kills. That's better than nothing, I guess. But the double orb setup comes out once again for SK. And this is actually a really powerful position to be in terms of, you've got the double orb setup, they haven't got an orb themselves, and they're lacking utility. They have a couple of Molotovs here, but they haven't really got the flashbangs or the full Molotovs to actually do full executions here, flush out these AWPers. So this is actually a really nice buy from SK going forward. They know this setup's working for them. Fallen can be a little bit more dynamic. He's towards danger once again. And we're seeing that B presence once more from Tyloo. The bomb's going to be towards that area, but not really giving much away. They're going to be holding up, and just seeing this little boost works out for Coldzera, but he's not going to get much information. A very passive hold from the T so far, not making too much happen. Oh, Coldzera's committing.
Yeah, he's gone up and down.
Down he goes.
And his teammate boosting him had gone. It was Phelps, who's now going back out toward B. Long Taco's on top of the statue to watch entry. Smoke down at the moment. There it is to Phelps' right. You can see the edge of the smoke. In fact, he's just inside of it. Thank you for showing us that. As 8 said, we'll look toward top drop. Very slow play at this point in time. Fallen's not pushing up with the op. Obviously, this time it is an AWP over toward A. So he doesn't have the same read, but he's definitely got an inkling because they've rotated over Coldzera and Fur together. And as of right now, including the reverse side of drop, there's 4 players holding off on this B position on the 2 choke points that go through into the site. Coldzera's one of them. Flashed off, backed away. He gets traded out. Smoke means that the crossfire from Fur can't work out to its perfection. He's got to go back in and fight. It's low HP in front of him. 3 versus 3. Taco's overwhelmed. He needs to get through drop fast. Finally, Fur will do so. He gets 1. Taco goes down, but they have to rely on Fallen's waiting position on the AWP to allow the bomb to come in from Tyloo, and that doesn't allow them to account for the fact that HZ is still sitting inside a drop room. So Fur had a chance to get more aggressive and help Taco out inside of the site, but he didn't have the information to do so. And as such, this could cost them dearly because it's a 1 versus 2. Tyloo bomb down at 6 HP for Fur to work with. He's got a kit. He's got a little bit of time. He's got the first shot. Knows now exactly where HZ is. He's low HP, 13 in fact, and Fur desperate tries to grab the AWP, but he knows he's rotated out of the drop room. Does he hold this? Because he knows he's backed away considerably, and I think he holds this all the way through. HZ's running toward the site. 2 seconds. I don't think he's going to get there in time. Fur clutches it back in the 1 versus 1.
HZ panicking a little bit there. Obviously, his intention at that point, make some footsteps, hope he's going for the fake defuse, bait him out, and he runs out of time there. But the full commitment, that's really the only move I would make in that position. You know he's towards drop down. His options are run out and towards you, or he's gone towards drop down. Gone towards connected doors, right? And he doesn't either and wastes a little bit too much time. Full defuse comes in, and the play does not work out. And that was a round Tyloo desperately needed to pick up. Bomb goes down, and Lost Bonus starting to get a decent position of 4th stage now. So they have enough for AKs once again, but another messy buy overall, lacking utility, and it's going to be Fallen back on the AWP, of course. This time, not towards danger. His teammate will be, though. That's going to be Fur towards long 8. And that's the smoke coming in. That's designed to take the vision away from Orbis, of course. As he rattles off some shots, could get a little bit messy here, but comes dangerously close to taking another T down.
Very close. Fur smokes himself out at long this time. Fallen's transferring his position. He's actually going more passive toward the site itself. Peculiar right now, actually, where he's playing just at the front lip of the platform on the way through, so he's not playing on the hut for elevation. It's Fur that goes aggressive. Fallen's not in a position to catch that off. He's still just waiting at front stables. This is a very tough position for him to play. He's got to get a rotation in to support him because both attacks, both sides of his flank are going to be occupied, including right now. As the terrorists get up behind stable, he's looking the wrong direction. That shot's going to rain out that he's there, but he gets inside of the smoke. And he's got it behind them. Somehow Fallen makes it work, and he's caused chaos because Captain Mo takes down HZ inside the smokes. It's pandemonium on the site as Phelps looks toward the balcony. Somehow somebody slipped in that direction, and Fallen rather is going to find him, as they did get in through the vent and cut this off, but bomb down in the sight. Lovely shot from DD. I was going to say they have to commit to the battle. It's not going to be a run toward B.
Yeah, difficult to analyze that round for you, Matt. It's absolute chaos there toward the stables area. Fallen being an absolute nuisance, as you pointed out, that he finds one kill as he's hiding in towards that smoke area. A team kill comes in. As the man advantage was gained by Tyloo, it looked like it would be all fallen away. This is the crazy moment Captain Mo takes on his teammate. But DD, like he said, a fantastic shot to finish things off there. And they've actually done a decent job here. You can see the last few rounds have come down to the tight situations. Now it's going to be SK Gaming on UMPs, M4s, and Fallen just has the 5-7. So, Tyloo a chance here to finish off the half 10-5. It's going to be a force buy from SK here, and looks like they're committing 5 players towards B. Perfect way to do it as well. Flashbangs go in, they get this first pick up. Not quite happening. They could have actually closed out the round there and then.
2 HP for Taco. Phelps tries to spray back through the smoke. They haven't got the 3rd smoke down behind the statue. I think that's just been thrown, or has it been? Okay, so they've done this a little bit differently. They just want to transfer to the statue and plant the bomb. That allows a wraparound potential, but this boost from DD is going to spot that, so they won't be able to deny the bomb plant. And on top of that, DD will take down Fallen, run back forward, find Fur, and it's just one more to go, and DD has that as well. Good position, 4 kills for him on the boost, and that's actually a very smart boost because they didn't have that smoke down to protect the planter.
Well, there it is. Another B set piece from Tyloo there. Nice and fast. Works out for them. They find their 4th round. As I said, they go towards B at that point. It's a bit of an A commitment from the CT to the start of the round. You can see that on the other side of the smoke. That's why I said if Tyloo get that first pick with that UMP, the first player that goes in through the choke point, they pretty much secured the round. The CT was so segregated from the situation. And a 10-5 scoreline looking very realistic now for Tyloo. This could be max 7s, UMPs and pistols for SK. And so Tyloo have got themselves back into this game at least. It's not perfect, but a lot better position than it looked like it was going to end up at. So, shotguns, very powerful in this map. Snax demonstrated that many, many times in previous encounters, and I think he did that today as well at long A. I saw it earlier with the Mag 7. He's very scary on this map with that weapon.
Everyone loves Snax on a Mag 7. That's my favorite. Somebody waiting. Again, Tyloo waiting to see if there's going to be a push through. This time with opposite intentions. Last time they did it when they were saving to get a weapon. This time they're actually just sitting back to see if SK is going to throw a curveball at them. Going in one at a time. Cold's able to take down DD as well on the single SMG they have in the round. This is a problem. Tyloo needed to go together in tandem and take down the trades immediately rather than give up more ground as SK Taco taking down Attacker has pulled this back in their favor, and here we go. Fur sneaking in as Cold's already boosted as well. Captain's going to grab him on the AWP, and as he turns back, greeted by a shotgun. Fur's got the kill, 11-4. SK almost handed that round. Clever boost from Cold, but too easy at the bottom of middle.
Yeah, bit of a nightmare there. Cold's are boosted up, and he gets the bomb down. That's the influential point at that stage, because he gets the bomb down. The T's are forced to rotate back in. They're having a little split set up at that stage, and it's he's got the 5-7 towards danger. He gets the rotating players there as well. This throws a span into the works, and a really difficult round for Tyloo to give away at that point. It was looking very successful to be 10-5, and now it's 11-4 against SK. Not looking too good right now. A must-win pistol coming up in the second half.
Must win indeed. 11-4, so this does stay pretty one-sided to start it off, all things considered. SK I'm curious to how they approach Tyloo. If they win the pistol, there won't be much to read into it. But if Tyloo are able to pick that up,
Yeah.
then we could start to see some of the tactics they employed at Malmo, which were very, very passive.
That's the interesting thing about this team. The CT setups they were presenting were crazy. Like, no one ever seen it before. Playing the crossfires, you weren't really challenging whatsoever. The T's had to actually commit to the bomb site before they found any CTs waiting for them. It was very interesting at the time, but slowly got shut down when people realized how to counter it out.
Exactly.
And I don't think they'll be falling for the same sort of antics here. SK Gaming, they'll have a look at their buy for the pistol. We get straight into it. 4 sets of armor, and Fallen, of course, he'll have the utility buy here. He's got a Glock and a smoke, 2 flashbangs, and a little decoy there as well. 5 sets of armor for Tyloo, so no kits or utility for them. As we get into this, it looks like a heavy commitment from the T's as well towards a B site. Just a little split from upper and drop down, perhaps. That smoke presumably going either towards the drop down area itself or the connector. We'll see what they decide to employ here.
Somebody flash, tries to fire into it, hoping to get a headshot, but little does he know that Taco's already pushed up. And the headshot back out from Taco, lovely from Cold, as H-Set's forced to rotate out of the site, give up ground because he's got no one else inside of it with him. Captain Mo's going for a flank.
Round down on the front.
But yeah, exactly that. Bomb already planted, 5 players still alive, no kits in play currently. I think one may have gone down at the connector doorway. As DD finally opens up something. I have to say, his shots, his accuracy are impressive, but unfortunately they've not been enough to do it all for Tyloo, and he'll get taken down by Phelps as he slips in the back window. It's going to be Attacker remaining.
Yeah.
I think Attacker should just be the defender and run. Did that make sense, Henry? That was not,
Sort of.
not one of my better ones. That's the first shot.
The attacker should become the retreater, maybe?
The retreater, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Phelps is going to kill him. Let's kill that whole thought as it goes 12-4.
Well, there it is. A really nice round from SK Gaming. Pretty basic stuff, like we said. 1 smoke towards that connector area, but they get the first pick. A lot of firepower, of course, and this brilliant team, some of the best aimers in the world. They find those initial encounters and they go in their favor. As soon as you get that first kill in, he's smoked off connector as well, and you've got a player like Coldzera in the drop-down room. He's listening for rotations, being a nuisance in the side there. Not really much the Chinese side can do. It's going to be 12-4. They have to force buy into this. Not really many options left. A UMP, CZs, 1 smoke, and looks like an A rush. Why not from SK? Stick together, and let's run up middle. And they spot the first player as well. Should be an easy frag, and Phelps, he picks it up.
I'm not sure why DD, who has the only gun, sees them and hears them coming, elects to pull a nade at that time. He's got no time to do so. He could have easily just had a chance to mow them down. Aye, but he could have got 1 at least. Come on, surely. As Mo will be now on to the UMP as he rotates over, but bomb already planted. The salvation in this is Fur-Tag to 9 HP. If they find him next, I'll write them a chance. But I don't know if I'll let them cash it, because Fallen, he already has somebody down. And Mo's found. There you go. Coldzera gets him 13-4.
Yeah, this is getting to the point of no return now. So you go 2-0 down, it's 13-4. You have to take a full eco at this point. You've only got $1,900 in the bank. Captain Mo is a little bit more, so you have to eco this one. That's going to be 14-4 against SK Gaming on the T side of Cobble as well. They're all stomping ground, and I'm not really sure the players here. So they go PT-50 in the hands of Attacker. And it should be a clean sweep for SK in terms of this round. Shouldn't even give a kill away at this point. Only default pistols really against them. They've got the SMGs as well. Coldzera looking to rush that drop-down position. Some presence towards mid as well. It's just going to be another full-on rush round. Coldzera sniffing off that first kill. He does have a lot of damage here, and it should be quite an easy procedure.
Yeah, literally just running around looking for every kill they could find. Cold gets 3 of them. Fur has the other. And Mo.
Yeah, I wish I could get hype about this round, but
We have 2 Mo's in this tournament. I'm just proud about that. And Fur's going to take down Captain.
the captain, who's
What was your favorite cereal?
solemnly going down of his ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your favorite cereal? I like Captain Crunch.
We didn't have that in the UK.
It rips apart the inside of your mouth, though.
Oh, nice.
It's not. Yeah, if you eat like 3 bowls of it, or 4 or 5, maybe like I did.
Yeah,
But, you know.
I always liked Frosties. Do you have that?
No.
Tony the Tiger?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frosted Flakes. No. That's. I don't know. I can't remember.
Well, I'll tell you all about it.
Let's go
after
cereal shopping. after this. We can be serial killers together, Henry.
this. Yeah, perfect.
Well, Mo sits toward long, AWP in hand. Last chance for Tyloo to pull back into this game with this buy. And they've got the only op on the board, on the deck. There's 2 UMPs still up on the SK side, indicating perhaps fast play as they spray out the hay bales position at long to make sure no one is occupying the Mo's scoped in. I don't know that they'll have heard that, but he's going to be in a very tough position because Phelps spraying through. They're already walking down and clearing danger, so op gone just like that.
He had to make something happen there, right? He's towards a trying to get that aggressive pick, dropped to smoke as well, but it's caught in a horrible position there. Towards middle, no one's watching danger for him, so he gets pincered, and the op goes down, and maybe the hope to Tyloo with it. And it's going to be a 5-on-4, 1 minute remaining. They have no kits here. They have a FAMAS, 3 and 4s, and 1 smoke remaining as well. I could add a few more variables in there if you want, but you get the picture as we get to maybe the latter stages now, because SK Gaming looking like they're going to run away with this round. The crescendo of the game, perhaps.
Well, SK overdrop and to the right at window to check it off as Taco goes down first. He'll hold position. Bouncing a nade for anyone who's likely to be holding outside of the window, like Taz often does, as we saw Phelps do. They double naded as well. That's actually quite clever.
Yeah, I like that.
Thankfully, DD's backed away from it. And backing away, he's able to spray down only 1. Taco, immediate trade, but he's tagged up significantly to 11 HP. As H-Set on top of the site is going to hold for balcony. Knows that he's gone that direction. He's low, but his timing is off. Finally does take down Taco. And Phelps arrives on the top of the site to return the favor.
Down.
But bomb is down inside of the balcony position. That was the shot on Taco, and that means somebody knows that. But how's he going to play it? 6 seconds? I think he knows that it's not possible. He just needs to stay alive. He needs to stay alive, and you're right. He did just barely miss the jump. Somebody's just gotten around the corner in time, thankfully.
That's nuts.
If he had been caught a second sooner, that round goes to SK.
I'm not 100% sure, but Fallen missing that jump, I think he couldn't have got it down anyway. I think he was just out of time, but missing the jump certainly didn't help either. But that's a lifeline, I guess, entirely. The problem is all 5 players go down, and there's a lot of money for SK going forward. So you can see the buys come in. 4 UMPs and a FAMAS up against a full buy from the Brazilian side. It's not looking too promising. So even if Tyloo managed to steal that round away, loses one, it's GG. There's no money left. The loss bonus has been fully reset, and only with SMGs ready to defend themselves. It's going to be Phelps making his way towards middle, and we'll see whether they have anything left in their arsenal. As Tyloo up against the wall now.
DD smoke in front of him. All right, doesn't do as much damage as I thought. 91, they shot from fur, though. Takes the initiative. Why not? Why peek it slow when you can just go? He saw the throw, and that's how we knew. Tense kind of ruins the rhyme, Henry, but we'll go with it. Somebody's going to try and peek back in. Fur's already holding the angle. Good headshot position on the AK. That's 2 kills. 1 back in return from attacker. And Mo's evened it up. I was going to say 2 kills with 3 to go and breaking again Tyloo, but they've done well to hold themselves together. Remember, trades favor the offense. So being able to compensate for a deficit early is big. However, that's happened yet again because Fallen has found yet another kill.
Yeah, and that's on the A side of the map as well. A lovely shot. He's waiting for the mistake to be made, but still, like he said, Tyloo being resilient here. But Fallen, he's cleared the A side, caught is clear, and he's holding the connector as well. So that should be round done at this point. Attacker so far removed from this situation, it's unbelievable. He has no kit. He has a UMP. 2 players defined as well, and this should be it. What's his options here? Go for it. See what he can do. Give that full 10-second defuse. Pretty much has to, really. Like I said, the money's reset to 2-on-1. It's not impossible, but now it is. 15-5, money gone, and that should be the GG at this point. Only $1,400 coming in. So, as you can imagine, UMPs, pistols, that should be the last call here for Tyloo, and indeed it is. It's going to be CZs, Deagles, 2 UMPs, no kits, no nades, and SK presumably running away with this one, 16-5. Hasn't been the game I hoped it would have been. Obviously, we talked about this last matchup at the Masters, this very event in Malmo, and it was Tyloo running away with it, but unfortunately, didn't really arrive to this one. Both teams with 1 player different, but SK Gaming certainly putting on a very impressive performance in this first encounter.
I have to say, Taco's new logo that he has on his hat, it reminds me a lot of the Tyrolia ski binding logo.
I don't know what that was like.
Don't worry about it. It just came to my mind, so I thought I would let everyone know, and these things matter. Phelps will lead the charge. Smoke down on danger. They can't clear that out just yet. And they definitely can't clear it from the long angle because first they've got to get rid of the hay bales position. Heavily occupied and fortified by Tyloo as a result of all of this, though, or perhaps not even as a result, but in direct contrast to it, it's over toward B where the bomb looks to go. And as a result of 3 on A, there's only 2 covering off drop close angles as well. Taco's going to be able to walk out pretty much completely alone at the long angle, but the shot's baited out from Fur. Pulls in 2, and an immediate response from attacker does get 1 down for the T's before they enter into the site. And also causes a rotation because there's players up close. Watch attacker's position. If Taco's not ready for this, better still if he finds Fallen. It's huge problems. Taco's pulled it back. It's a 1 versus 2, and what a shot to end it.
Yeah.
As he obliterates Captain Mo.
Yeah, that got me back in the spirit of things. That was a very good performance there to finish things off. But yeah, didn't realise SK had to break a sweat there at all. Tyloo didn't really arrive to this game. I think when you're the underdog as well, I don't really agree with the philosophy of going for that war of attrition, like force buying all the time. I think you want to be allowing your star players like Captain Mo to have the AWP, give yourself some utility to have the executions and have that sort of potential there. The economy was a real problem for them in that first half. Losing the pistols didn't help either, but there it is. It was 16-5. I think it was an expected scoreline, to be fair, but yeah, SK looking very comfortable overall.
I think they're looking great, and Phelps didn't get to see a lot from him, to be fair, and it's one map. It's hard to read, and I don't just mean one map in terms of time played. I mean, it's literally just Cobblestone that we've seen.
Yeah.
Does seem dynamic, does seem to rotate quite a bit. I think there was some miscues. I mentioned the one with Cold Zero when he was on the window at drop room.
Sure.
Overall, though, I think the team's, easy test against Tyloo, but I think they're going to be fine in this event. I think they'll build into it. That's a perfect opponent for them to start. Good game for them to start as well, to get that one under their wings.
You have to think as well, the rounds that Tyloo actually picked up, one of them was like a 4-on-2 situation that was like pretty improbable. There wasn't any like solid rounds that looked like very comfortable. I can't think of a single scenario on their T side where they had an AWP, 4 AKs, and all the utility to work with. And then when you're the underdog, that's actually a massive problem. You can't fall back to the strat book, you can't go like to your defaults. You're actually just clutching at straws pretty much throughout that half.
Well, that said, Smix is out in the casino with our lovely players. Oh, she's not ready yet. I thought you said she was, Adam.
No, he said wait for him to say.
I'm sorry. I thought he said toss it to
Don't worry,
when you're ready.
It's been a long week, I guess, for you.
It's one day.
Yeah, that's enough to get you out of the system.
You know, that's fine. It's fine.
So now we have to keep talking. You broke the rhythm.
I did, but we can definitely discuss, I think, as well, HZ coming in. I think
he actually looked like the best player for them overall.
I would say HZ and DD.
Yeah.
DD's aim is something, this cable, I swear, DD's aim for me is something that every time I see him play, he hits nuts shots. Unfortunately, it's not enough alone, and winning that second pistol might have given us a chance to see if their CT side still works, but this is the thing. Tyloo stormed onto the scene last year with antics that we were not familiar with. Everyone's aware of those now. And ever since then, we've seen decreasing results from them. I think they've definitely got to dig deep. We know their coach does a lot of work overnight to analyze other teams, but we've got to see a lot of work from them working on their own analytical and strategical game, because they lack it severely, in my opinion.
Well, Matthew, thank you for tying a lovely little bow there to finish things off. And I think
love
we
when I
are
tie a
ready
bow.
to throw things over to Smix. So, Sue, please take it away.
Congratulations, Taco. That was a very dominant first map from you guys. It's interesting because your team actually has a history with Tyloo. The last time you played them was at the last Dreamhack Masters in Malmö, so they actually knocked you out at that event in the group stage. So coming into this event, even though Tyloo is the underdogs versus you guys, did that affect how you prepared?
I think not. The first time we played against Tyloo, we didn't know anything about them, so it was kind of weird. Now we know how they play, and we prepared to it.
Now, this is the first time you're playing with Phelps. Phelps was obviously a star, aggressive player on Immortals. How are you guys planning on incorporating him into your team, as it's sort of a much different role that he had versus FNX?
Actually, this last week of preparation was to fit Phelps in the system. He's really aggressive. It's a really good thing. Actually, we had to change some positions. It's a good thing because we are playing the same positions, doing the same things for like 1 year, and now the teams don't know what we're gonna do for this tournament. So it's a good point, and I think he will keep being aggressive. He's a star, and he will fit in the system.
Well, at the major, despite playing with the stand-in for not long at all, you guys still got top 4. At this event, you have an arguably much stronger player playing with you guys, so how confident are you that you'll be able to perform well?
Even with Fox, if we were playing with him this tournament, I think we are here to win. Fox is a really good player. Phelps, of course, is amazing. Every tournament we play with Fox, with Phelps, with FNX at the time, we play to win. So we are here to win.
All right, well, thank you very much, Taco, and best of luck.
SK making short work of Tyloo. Unable to do the necessary damage, however, a couple of individual shining stars. Matt, of course, big fan of DD.
Everyone loves double Ds.
They do, indeed. And of course, we got to see a little bit of the attacker as well doing some magic, but not enough to really translate to any form or an ounce of victory or success for Tyloo yet so far in this tournament. But we start with a conversation from Taco. Now, Sue just heard him say, Phelps is our star and we're going to change around him. that goes against what we anticipated. You've got players like Cold Zero, world's best player. You've got Fallen, who just deceives, or rather breaks what we thought was capable with the AWP, and now they're saying Phelps is going to be the star. Duncan, what does that say to you?
I mean, I like the move. Like, one of my concerns when he came into the team is I felt like since he's still reasonably inexperienced as a player, if you make him be just a supportive player and he's someone who was a star once upon a time, then it kind of worries me that maybe you'd break his confidence and you ruin his game style. So I feel like if you bring him in, you've got to be saying, right, this guy's the future of the team, we're going to go all in. But yeah, the question then becomes, who's going to give up room there, which I don't think we had to see in this map, unfortunately, because it was such a short game. But I want to see going forwards how much of that really applies. How much of that is just trying to pump him up, how much is real.
I mean, if that's really the route they're going to go, which remains to be seen still, that's something where you don't take someone like Cold, who's been incredibly consistent as your star player for over a year now. You don't change anything he's doing. You leave him where he is. And I think if you look to anyone to adjust, yeah, it might be fallen a little bit, but for the most part, I think it's going to be Fur, because he's already done it before. He's already shown that he has that will, and he has that temperament where he can actually give away, like he did when Cold came into the team, he gave away a lot of those star roles to him. So I think once again, you put the burden on Fur and you say, you're the one who's going to be probably most affected of this. We're going to need you to give up more space for Phelps. And from everything we've seen from Fur, he'd be willing and he'd be good at doing it.
I mean, Chad, what we also heard from Tekka was just saying that teams are not going to know what to expect. We did the same stuff, the same positions for a year. Now with Phelps in, we're going to be more unpredictable.
Yeah, this is really good, and this is what I think teams need to have to realize and adjust when they're on a winning streak, or if they have been found out. And it's good that SK have identified that and know they have to change. VP are a team who do that all the time, and that's why they're able to stay with this roster and stay successful for a long time. So if SK want to try and mimic longevity in a lineup, they have to be able to adapt, and that's good that they're going to play around Phelps. And I think that's going to only be a positive thing for them.
Now into the gameplay, while I have you, Chad, it's always kind of cliche to ask, but when you see a scoreline like 16-5, was there anything that really stood out? If I was like one defining reason as to why the score was so one-sided, was there a weakness you spotted within Tyloo?
I think force buying early was a problem for them. When you have like a round that you win by a force buy, it kind of leads you into like false confidence that you can do it again. It's hard to do those force buy wins, right? And I think that was kind of SK's fault for buying 5 UMPs. You never want to see that, especially on the CT side, anti-eco. You need at least 1 or 2 rifles or a mixture of weaponry in there. The 5 umps is a no-goer. So I think their economy was hurt early, and then it's hard to establish set strategies as a terrorist side team. You don't have all the utility you need. You're always playing catch-up. If you take those ecos like you're meant to, you can go into the first gun round with a good plan. If you keep force buying, you don't have a plan. You're just hoping your players get kills.
Right. And kills they did get. We'll bring up the stats. I don't think it was necessarily a question of who was going to shine the most. We didn't do our fun Chad
next game.
chip game.
That was your fault. You shot that down.
Yeah, I wasn't really feeling
Fun
it.
killer.
I'm the fun killer.
The dream crusher.
I think the big thing you'll see when the stats come up, one thing I noticed is obviously SK is a team that's always, with Fallen, one of the best oppers of last year, if not the best. And then also, they've always been very dangerous when it comes to double op setup, whether that's Cold. Sometimes they've used Taco recently as well, and he's shown that he's capable, if not anything like incredible with it. But I think that was the big thing, because when you look at the opper on the Tyloo side of things, Captain Mo, he had a very, very poor game. So I think that was the big thing on the defense. I mean, Tyloo just didn't have any tactics, whether it be countering that with an op duel or any kind of setups to neutralize the AWPs of SK, and that just is so hard to get around.
So the point we had in our pre-match, Duncan, was that in the past in Counter-Strike, the Chinese or teams hailing from Asia were strong aimers. Like that was what they brought. Yeah. They would come into a flurry into a bomb site and have the aim. That doesn't seem to be the case into the Counter-Strike Global Offensive era, right? They had high sense and some crazy flicks, but they've never maintained that.
Well, no, the problem is, for people who don't use high sensitivity, you'll always look like you hit a crazy shot, because a normal player wouldn't be able to hit that if you had very low sensitivity. You use like a big mouse mat. But the question for me is, how consistently can you do that? I mean, famously, actually, Scream used to have that amazing one-click aim, but he never used to get the other kills, and he'd end up on like 16 kills. So it depends what you can actually do with that round after round, because actually that's not a very reliable thing, to just run in a site and two-click people in the head, That's probably not going to be a strategy going. It does when it works, yeah, sure. Somebody's
mouse movement looks ridiculous.
Is it somebody? Yeah.
Well, when you see how much it's jittering around and stuff, his sense must be crazy. I'm not a fan of it. But
who was it? Was it Attacker whose sensitivity was so fast that he looked too high up in the air when he tried to pop flash through smoke, and he actually turned around and looked at his own flash?
Yeah, that was really silly. That was a round that they probably should have won.
That's impressive. Yeah. It takes a lot of skill.
It was so phenomenal.
Well, I got the stats here if we want to talk about them, though.
You have, yeah. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring them up.
That's right. Cold Zero was 26 frags, 13 deaths. It's pretty good. He 1.73 rating.
Yeah.
Stat padding. This is what you need in the first games. You want to get your stats up there. But seriously, that's good, and you feel comfortable, especially with a win like this. It helps you with confidence going into the next match.
Yeah. well, they have done well to kind of throw down the gauntlet in their group, and we can go ahead and check in with that, I believe. We can go ahead and have a quick look at where that puts them in their upper bracket. If not, of course, I can remind you that we've got another game coming up as well. It's going to be NIP versus Cloud9 after our break. Get to see if NIP are finally going to be able to translate some of that time off into some success in an offline environment. Or will Cloud9 return from that Sao Paulo form? We'll find out after our break.
After the break on Dreamhack Masters, Ninjas in Pajamas versus Cloud9.